Hey everybody, Random Observer here with another video. Today, the topic I'm going to discuss, I think, is important. Obviously, it is to do with weight. And yes, okay. Now, as we know, the being fat used to be something that would get you bullied at school. It certainly did me. I've been called fatso and all kinds of other names, which I won't repeat, which were not very nice at all growing up. Anyway, a lot of people were. So it used to be stigmatized as a bad thing. But largely thanks to, I believe, the fat acceptance movement, fat liberation, body positivity, etc., it is now pretty much the norm for people to be of a heavier weight. Uh, so, and as nice as that may sound, of course, there is another side to it. For example, the thing that worries me at the moment is I have heard a disturbing rumor, well, from a comment section, one of the posts I was watching, which says that apparently some kids are now being bullied for being too thin. Now, the whole point, this again bothers me because the whole point about body positivity, the whole point about fat acceptance, again, at the heart of it was that people should not be bullied for their weight. You know, they shouldn't be stigmatized. Now, again, that's either way. Again, people say, you know, you are got to be what you're comfortable with. Now, some people are comfortable with being thin. So if you are one of the young people bullying somebody for being thin, stop doing it. That's my message. Because I was told a long time ago when I was younger, I was told by my family, just because other people are picking on you does not make it right to pick on others. More of that later. Anyway, first of all, from the fat, I would say I am not officially part of the fat acceptance movement or fat liberation movement, but having been a person of a heavier weight, I've been called the F word, so I have some experience with this. And I've got to say, unfortunately, from a fat person's perspective, I should say, I got to say the diet tribe and the fitness junkies did this to themselves. You know, people say, oh, you know, this is unhealthy, blah, 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 blah. Yeah, but you got to see it. Okay, from a fat person's point of view, the diet tribe were so condescending. There's even like, I believe, a Heinz baked beans advert, which basically ridicules the ridiculously arrogant, overzealous, condescending, nasty fitness junkie saying, I have done so and so exercise today, and followed by whatever nutritional supplement for something else, blah, blah, blah. It's ridiculous. It's just like over the top, in your face. I am fantastically healthy and you've got to be healthy as well or else. It's just not accepting of other people, and it's very condescending. It really is. And it's that kind of attitude that gets people riled up, you know. And it's just, the fact is, most of us, the vast majority of us, we ordinary people, not everybody wants to get up at 4 a.m. and run a marathon, thank you. That's fine for the people who do, the fitness fanatics, that's fine. You do you. But the rest of us are just fed up with this lecturing attitude about it. And that is what has caused the backlash in the form of fat acceptance, I think. I remember this was a few years, long before Tess Holiday, the official time when everyone thought, yes, this is proper fat acceptance now. No. I remember the time when Roy Nelson, MMA fighter, made no secret that he was a heavier weight. He was, well, you would say, overweight. Now, that may sound offensive to fat activists, but anyway, the word overweight I would use. And he basically, it was wonderful in a way, as having been a fat person, to see him as a fat fighter beating the living hell out of all these fitness jocks, who, the kind of people who lectured us about this is the way to be, you've got to be healthy, you can't win a fight without this, blah blah. And there he is beating the living daylights out of them, and that was so satisfying because it was basically, yes, you know, screw you. Anyway, so yeah, that was kind of a victory for the people of heavier weight, I should say, the heavyweights, literally. Anyway, so that was great in some ways. In other words, people should not be bullied for their weight. But at the same time, the pendulum has now kind of swung the other way. It is now not just accepted, but expected for people to be a heavier weight. And looking at some of the stats, I can see there's what, a third, at least a third of people in my country and in most countries are now officially obese. And that was a couple of years ago, so I'm sure it's probably worse. Anyway, so the thing is that as much as we would like health at every size, there's certain realities I do think we need to face. I mean, yes, okay, people will say to me, the heavier people will say to me, well, I've been this weight for some time and I'm healthy and I've not got a problem, blah, 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 blah. Okay, it's like driving at night with your lights off. Okay, that doesn't mean you are going to crash, but you run a higher risk of doing so. Unfortunately, as much as people can try and deny it, the evidence does show that a higher number of people of heavier weight were admitted to ICU wards, were seriously ill with COVID, have a higher risk of heart attacks, strokes, and a dozen other conditions. That's not just propaganda. Unfortunately, Mother Nature has a set of rules. If you're above or below a certain weight, then things get harder. It's not to say that you can't exist. Look, let's be honest. We can be any weight. People can be the weight that you choose, the weight that you feel comfortable with. But I think we do need to be aware. The thing is, we all got to accept certain realities. Imagine if you, to give you an example, imagine if you had party at any age, like regardless of what age you are. This is just to illustrate why, because I think, what was it, Fat Liberation had 100 million followers on Twitter or something crazy. And it's not surprising, because if suddenly the government or society just said, right, party at any age, you can party all you want, and you can live life to the full, and you don't have to have any obligations or rules or anything like that, people would go wild. You'd have pensioners getting smashed off their face. This sounds a bit depressing, guys, but honestly, this probably would happen. You'd have pensioners getting smashed off their face. You'd have children taking substances I won't even mention on here. As shocking as this sounds, probably they would if the restraints were all lifted. Teenagers, whatever. And you'd have grown adults behaving like 5-year-olds. You'd have the craziest kind of thing happening. And to everyone would think, hey, this is great, this is fantastic, we can do whatever we want, fantastic, we can behave and party like this forever. But unfortunately, there's certain realities we've got to face here. As much as we would like to, you can't act like you're still 18 when you're 40 something. I mean, okay, this is personal experience here, but we've got to face facts here, guys. And it's not nice to hear, and it's not something that people like to do, but I think that we do need to kind of recognize that we've got to be, if you are above or below a certain weight, then Mother Nature is going to be harder on you. That's not to say that you can't live a normal life, but it's just that I think we're at the point now where it disturbs me that we've gone past the point of respect for people of heavier weight to fat narcissism, which ain't nice, because I hear the disturbing stories of people bullying people for being too thin. I see the online post that being skinny is out of fashion, according to one online post. But the thing is, there are people who are perfectly comfortable with being thin, just as other people like to be fat. That's fine. You should be comfortable with your weight. So just, I'm asking people, please respect that there are people who are as comfortable being thin or slim as you are being fat. And at the same time, we need to recognize that, unfortunately, you can, if you decide to be above a certain weight, granted, if you have a pre-existing condition which determines your weight, that's fair enough. That's beyond your control. But if you are choosing to eat to make yourself a certain weight, above or below a certain weight, then nature is going to get harder on you. And myself included, I am clogging my arteries with stuff, too much sweet stuff. I have weighed myself. I have put on too much weight, and I need to pull this back. And that's not fashionable at the moment in these present times. But in my generation, somebody looking at me now would say, what the hell are you doing, man? You need to lose some weight. You can't, if you hit middle age and you're still a certain weight, not healthy. Although, to be fair, I get where people are coming from, okay? I have had all the passive aggressive remarks, oh, getting a bit big around the midriff, mate. Oh, you're a bit big, mate. You should lose some weight, kind of. And it has been very condescending and nasty. So I get why people rebelled so strongly against that mentality. So, okay, fitness junkies and diet tribe people listening to this, please take note. Can you please not be so condescending and nasty towards people who, when you're trying to get people to lose weight? Because they won't. You talk down to people and push them around, they ain't going to lose weight. They're going to do the exact opposite. They'll do exactly what I did and stuff my face with French fries and ice cream. This is what happened. If, on the other hand, you allow people to figure out for themselves what their best weight is, chances are they'll probably lose it themselves. Anyhow, the current mentality, though, is not a good one, because we've gone so far the other way that now there's even like talk of changing the body mass index scale and altering science itself. It's just, the thing is, we can try and alter reality up to a certain point, but like I said, we've got to face it at some point. Anyway, that is a rambling rant over there. Now, that's not to everybody's liking, but I do think, having been a fat person, having been called the same names that you guys have been called in the playground, yeah, fair enough. The condescending diet culture and fitness culture has got to learn and be more respectful to people's weight. But at the same time, it is not okay to fit shame people any more than it was to fat shame people. No bullying. Please, let's not bully people because of their weight. And let's try not to judge people for their weight, fat or thin, or any other. And just be aware that, you're ultimately responsible for your own life and health. And science indicates it's got to be above or below a certain amount. If it's above or below a certain amount, stand corrected. If it is above or below a certain amount, then the risk is greater. Anyway, that's all for now. Feel free to comment below. Thanks.